when people first transition to a ketogenic way of eating, they often will lose a good amount of weight pretty early on. And of course, they're very excited about that. And this can happen even by following the loose guidelines for keto, because just lowering the carbohydrates and the sugars is enough to get a lot of people starting to lose weight. And a lot of people continue to make great progress with that alone. But what happens if you feel like you're stuck or your weight loss stalls? Well, there's a couple things to consider. First of all, you have to discover if you're actually stalled. And if you are, then we need to look at some things you can tweak a little bit more, or maybe start measuring and tracking a little more seriously. So first thing is to see if you're actually stalled. Now, if you are losing 1/2 pound to 2 pounds per week, that's not a stall. That's actually the perfect healthy amount of weight for you to lose each week. And if you're losing much more than that, it's probably fluid weight anyway. So once you determine if you're actually stalled, you can look at some other things. So if your weight is going up, you can consider fluid retention. Could the weight be retaining fluid from changes in PMS hormones? Or could it be fluid retention from an extra salty meal that you ate at a restaurant? Fluid levels fluctuate throughout the day, and they can account for several pounds. So wait another few days and see if that comes back into a normal range for you. Another thing to consider is that muscle. It weighs more than fat. So if you've been exercising and building muscle, your weight might stay the same or even go up, because you can build muscle and still be losing fat, and it will actually change your body composition or your body fat percentage, which is actually a better gauge of health and progress than overall weight is, in my opinion. So if it's neither of those two, the fluid or the muscle building, it could just be that your body needs extra time to heal, because your metabolism is a little thrown off guard, because now you're burning fat instead of glucose for energy. So it might take time for your body to adjust to that. It's taken a long time to get to where you are, so it's gonna take a little bit of time to get to where you want to be. So be patient with yourself. I've seen time and time again where people will be following a keto plan and they lose weight, and then they seem to stall for a long time. And then all of a sudden the weight starts to come off. So it just took them time to adapt to burning fat. So be patient. You just might need a little more time to heal, to get your metabolism used to burning fat for energy. So besides that, if you are in this place where you feel like you're stalled with your weight, do focus on some of the areas you might have improved with. So maybe your waist to hip ratio has gone down, or maybe you're thinking, as I say, clear thinking, I'm stumbling over my words. Maybe your thinking is more clear, or maybe you've increased in your levels of energy, and all of those are wonderful improvements. So stick with it, and your body will come along too with you if you stick with the keto plan. Now, if you are genuinely stalled though, there are some things you can do to get the weight loss moving again. So first of all, see if you're actually in ketosis, and if you're not, you might have to lower your carb intake a little bit more. And then if you are in ketosis, look for sources of hidden carbohydrates. Really look at those nutritional labels to see if you're actually getting more carbs than you think you are. And then the next one to look at is protein. Remember, if you have too much protein, it still can convert into glucose and prevent fat burning. And then even though I know that this is a high-fat diet, keep in mind that you can't eat 5 fat bombs every hour and expect to lose fat, because then your body is getting its energy from the food sources when we want to use our stored body fat for energy. So try making those switches. Some other things you can try are to eat more leafy green vegetables, because they're so low in calories And they're so high in nutrients that it will satisfy your body's requirements. So you'll be less hungry for those higher calorie, high carbohydrate foods. And then another thing to think about is intermittent fasting. So this is where we close that window of time that we're consuming food, and that gives the body more time to go into repair and fat burning mode. So that can really be helpful, as well as stopping eating like at least 3 hours before you go to bed, because during the nighttime when you're sleeping is when your body repairs and it does more fat burning. And if your body is focused on digesting, then it doesn't have the energy to focus on fat burning and repairing. So that can be another helpful tool to get you to where you want to go with your weight loss goals. Now, all of those being said, I hope that you find that either you're not stalled or you find some good ways to help you get the weight loss moving again.